online broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans, producing aftershows for over 300 of your favorite teams. The buzz begins!
Ooh, this is a different part.
I was gonna say, like, me too. I was like, wait.
No,
a
you know
minute.
what? We never actually get to this part of the song, and it's pretty cool.
Well, we did have an episode where the engineer played it longer.
Oh, you're so right. It actually,
And
yeah.
we just played it in the background. You can keep it going. It's all good. We like it.
All right, well, welcome guys to our recap of episode 9, Safehold, for your favorite show on AfterBuzz TV, the Shannara Chronicles on MTV. But we're on AfterBuzz TV, just saying. But yeah, so who's joining me today? We are missing our OG. What? She always abandons us, and I know, Heather, you're watching. But anyway, aside from missing our lovely Heather G, who do I have today? We have a new one. We have a new victim. No, kidding.
Well, hey guys, I'm Veronica Gabriel. You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Veronica on TV.
Woohoo. Okay. Hey guys, Carrie Lane here. You can find me online at Carrie D Lane, and I just kind of wanted to lean over the beginning and show you my shirt. It's Khaleesi writing Toothless.
It's excellent.
So cool.
Anyways, I was very excited to wear my fantasy shirt for my fantasy show.
I love it. Okay, and I'm Maria Cavassuto, and you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Maria Cavassuto. I changed my handle because I needed my actual name in there. Otherwise, it was too confusing. But Snapchat still MGCVSST because those darn Snapchats won't let me, change my thing. But anyway, so yeah, just to start off at the top, I'm gonna remind you guys, like, comment on YouTube. We love your YouTube comments. Tweet at us, talk to us, whatever you want. We want to know how you feel about the episode, about us, like whatever you guys want. We are very, very open. And thank you everyone for giving us like feedback and talking to us about parts that we don't know about the show because we haven't read the books, because we're just doing it about the show. However, let's get started.
Sounds good.
Sounds good. Okay, I'm gonna get worked up.
I was gonna say, you're like doing a crazy workout.
I know.
over there.
I have to.
You're just so excited.
I'm just so excited. This was such a cool episode for our company.
Yeah.
So for Will and Eritrea and Amberly. So we start off, and they're going straight into that tunnel. Right?
I like that San Francisco sign.
I was like, you could see that it said San Francisco,
Yes.
and then Will's like, Safehold.
You're like, sure.
I'm like, sure, that's opportune. So they go into this kind of, I thought it was a subway, but I don't know. Did it look like a subway?
I think it's a subway.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Probably.
Some sort of.
I could have sworn I thought San Francisco has a subway. And I thought I've ridden on it, but I'm not sure now. I'm like, it's the BART. I remember that.
Yeah, they do
and we do have subways in LA, which most people don't really realize.
No, I know. The metro is actually like a thing here, and we have it surface level and under the ground, which is very interesting. Just very interesting. But anyway, so we have our people going through a tunnel, and kind of right off the bat, I mean, this is just something that I thought was super interesting, that like the girls on this show are so strong.
Yeah.
Because I remember Will's like, I think Amberly was like, no, I'll go alone, and I was like, all right, okay, like I feel
She's like, I got this.
You can take care of yourself.
I love that be back in exactly 5 minutes. I don't know about you, but they don't have watches, and like I have no internal clock. Like I have no sense of 5 minutes, 10 minutes, an hour. I'll just be like, oh crap, it's like 5 hours later than I planned, or something like that.
And I said, I see there.
They're like, yeah, I'll be back in 5 minutes. So I was just wondering, like, how are they timing that?
I know, that was kind of funny. But either way, Amberly kind of runs into. Oh, okay. So we have some information here. The central subway.
Does that go under? It is underground subway, because I think it goes underwater too.
Well, yeah. So it's
like the BART goes underwater.
The central subway is an extension
from,
of
like the. Because, there's different parts of San Francisco, so you can go underwater and get in.
Oh, wow.
We're gonna go with that. We're gonna go with it's the
Sure,
subway.
I think so. Because I remember my ears hurting. I don't know.
Carrie had a unfortunate experience. I know, but I know what you're talking about. The ears do hurt when you under the pressure, right?
Yeah. I feel like the same thing in the mountains too.
Yeah.
Through the mountains.
Helicopters too.
Yeah. Anywhere where there's pressure, you feel it on the ears. It's kind of unpleasant.
Anyway.
But what's also unpleasant is that Amberly runs into a bunch of sleeping trolls.
I like that she's like, keeps walking. I'm like, no. Turn around.
Yeah.
Turn around.
I would
Hey
run the
guys,
other way.
check this out.
Yeah, she's like, hey, you guys, we got. I don't know. Is that like the only way? I guess when they see the tattoo.
Yeah, that's when they see the symbol on the wall. This is the way.
Yeah, and that's when I'm like, wow, Eritrea must be much more important than I thought she was because.
But why she ditched the jacket? That was the weirdest disrobing of a garment that I was like, where'd her jacket go? Well, we need to show the tattoo. I get that. But, like, tie it around her waist. I thought she was going to use it to climb. And then she just takes it off and throws it away, essentially. It made no sense. It was so weird. I'm like, why'd she get rid of her jacket?
Yeah, I definitely thought that she was going to, like, throw it over the bar and, like, shimmy
scoot
through,
across.
But
No.
I feel like that would have been really noisy though, because you know if there's any kind of buttons or anything, it would have totally like I don't know.
That's a good point.
But
I'm glad it didn't fall. I was waiting for that, too. I'm like, all three are going to get on, and it's going to fall.
no, I actually, you know what I thought? I was like, all three of them are gonna get on, and somebody's either Amberly's sword is gonna fall on these
Oh, I saw the
children,
sword.
right?
It was like hanging there. It looked like it was coming down.
Absolutely,
It
just
wasn't
kinda,
the girls.
but it wasn't the girls. It's of course Will
Yep.
and his little pouch.
Ah.
I just like, of course, out of all the people that this
Yep.
can happen, it's literally it has to be
Yes.
Will.
Mm-hmm.
Thankfully.
I was actually hoping he'd like ninja it and catch it before it fell.
I thought that too.
No, he's not that cool.
No, he's
apparently. That's giving him way too much credit.
No, on top of that, I feel like the way he was reaching down, it wasn't with his like, I guess with his right arm where it would have been like, oh hey, I think he was like doing something really strange, like crossing his
very
left.
awkward. Yeah.
I'm like, that doesn't look comfortable. That doesn't look good at all.
And I thought that, like, with the troll sleeping, he was right in front of his face. Like, can they smell? I thought they could smell humans. Or, I mean...
They have the
elsewhere.
mask on though.
Oh, true.
Yeah, but I mean,
He was right in front of his face.
But you are right, Veronica. It's like I feel like they smell, especially like elves, and
Yeah.
Will is a half elf, so it's just like, I know. I was expecting. I actually thought they could have like done something fun with that scene, and I don't think that happened.
They could have done the wake up, look around, and fall back asleep gag.
Yeah,
kinda
and then
thing.
we're all like, oh my
But
gosh,
nope.
what's gonna happen?
But they make it out safely, so you're like, oh, cool.
They do make it out safely, so that's kind of cool. And then they find themselves in this chamber. This is kind of where we start getting into like the more of like the heading to the blood fire type deal. There's all these like cool things in that chamber. More of not Amberly, more of Eritrea's tattoos. But then they come across this thing of like, well, actually no. Let me go back for a second. So when Will and Eritrea are alone, he chooses the moment when they're alone in the tunnel to apologize to her.
Sure.
Is that classic
Perfect
Will?
timing.
Is that
Very well.
is that just too Will?
Yeah.
It's like, I'm sorry about that.
I thought it was like, of course, Will would do this kind of thing, but it's kind of nice, because you know what? I don't know if you guys think the same thing. Tell me if you do. But her tattoo and seeing her tattoo like on the wall for Eritrea is almost like, oh, I belong to something like bigger.
Yeah.
Sure. And then when she starts feeling it and stuff, she's like, I know. Is this what the stones feel like? The magic of it?
Especially when she was standing there and then her eyes go white and you know
Yeah.
that she's meant to be there for a bigger purpose.
Yeah.
Tattoo roadmap.
Tattoo roadmap is for sure. But so that's actually what happens in this kind of weird chamber thing. They come across this book that says, I have it written down.
I was going to say, yeah, that weird
It
word.
says,
Fili
Apocalypse,
Fili.
which later on we find out is children of the Armageddon. Which is kind of weird. I guess I don't really know like necessarily what that is, but when Eritrea sees the blood fire symbol on the wall, she has this vision of like the blood fire, and then she does go kind of white, right?
Yeah.
And then she gets the map. How convenient, right? It's just
convenient.
like how
On your
convenient.
arm.
Well, I
Right
like that
there.
it's essentially burned in her skin, and she's kind of like, ow, and then it's like, oh, no, I'm good. Because it looked like it was cutting or something, too.
Yeah.
Like, almost like burning into her flesh, and then, like, 2 seconds later, it's healed, and she's like, oh, no, it's cool. I know where to go, guys. Because, of course, I can look at my shoulder.
No, and of course it's clear. It's a clear map.
Yes.
Like there is no way to confuse that.
Yeah.
It doesn't have a you are here, so I don't know where to start.
That is so hilarious.
That's perfect.
Yeah, it's just all of a sudden it's like, oh, the pieces come together. Hey, I know what I'm doing
Yep.
for once. No, I'm kidding.
Well, maybe it's important for her because she finally has a bit more to add to the group before she was... I mean, she fights, yes, but she hasn't had a... No, really, this is the only thing I can bring. You guys can't do anything about this, and I have this special ability now. So,
Yeah. Because
That helps.
before, she was only seen there in the vision, so
Yeah.
that's how you knew she was there, or supposed to be there.
Yeah.
Till now.
That's a really good point. I think that makes perfect sense because that's how I felt about her in this episode. I'm like, this girl finally feels like, I don't know, I saw her like more excited than pretty much everybody else in the episode, and she's like so gung-ho, and she's like the first one up, like, you know, the ladder, or those little, you know, like a little ladder that they have in there inside the tunnel. She's like the first one to go up, and I'm like, man, this girl is like really taking charge. But I guess it is kind of like that. She has a lot to offer right now. This is like, again, it's kind of that sense of belonging that I think she just hasn't been feeling this whole season or her life, you know?
I just noticed you guys are nails twinsies, sort of.
Don't look at mine, because mine are chipped, which is not how I like to have them. I just all hide them underneath my seat. So anyway, we know that her tattoo burns and reveals a map, and she gets very like you said, you guys, it's just she can feel it now. She actually wonders if that's the same way that like Will feels about the elf stones.
I feel like I'm invincible, right? Something like that,
yeah. She says I feel invincible, and I was like, that's very interesting, just considering what happens, you know, later, which we'll get to. But then here literally was my favorite part, I think, of the episode, even though sometimes I was like, oh, I'm not sure if I like how this looks, but whatever. So they arrive at this kind of like old church thing. Did it look like
church?
Did it look like a church to you
I thought
guys?
it was church.
They had pews. They had a stained glass window.
And the statue.
And the statues,
Yeah, that's right. Exactly. There's like a statue of like, you know, I guess a virgin with like, you know, baby. So
it's probably a Catholic church.
Yeah, something like that. Exactly. In San Francisco, I guess. Or in the subway system. That would be very interesting.
I think they've come above ground at that point.
Oh, because they climbed the ladder.
Yeah, so now they're no longer underneath. But so
they could be in Oakland for all we know.
They could be. But then so there's this like weird receptor thingy that's all, you know, it looks so much like the seed, doesn't it?
Which I love that somebody made a comment on, I think, YouTube, and then you picked up on it, that someone's like, where is it? Because remember the last time we actually physically saw it, like visually saw it. She's putting it in her horse's little pouch.
Like poucheroo,
And that's the last time we really saw it. Because we talked about, like, you would put that on your person, like, attached to you.
I've been wondering.
But they haven't had it. Even in this episode, nobody takes it out, right?
Yeah, they haven't done anything with it.
I was wondering this whole time, like, where is it? Where is it? Because she's getting attacked and she's like running and jogging. Like,
she's taking her clothes off a little bit. You know,
that is a good point with Sir Will. But totally a good point. Like, and somebody did point this out because I mean, seriously, where is it?
Yeah.
And for all she knows, it could have fallen, and she's like, no idea. And she could not even have it. You know what I mean? Yeah. For all we know, she could just be like, oh, I don't have it, but I'm not going to tell anyone.
And they make it out to be so important. It's like, well, where is it now?
Yeah. So that is a great point. But then, so there's this like receptor thingy that looks kind of like the seed in a way, and then they kind of find out that they're in the right place because the stained glass window is kind of like, and this light shines on the ground, which I mean could be like the sun shining through the stained glass window. I'm not sure, but then we have these really interesting creatures. I'm gonna call them creatures. They're the guardians of the blood fire. Mm-hmm. What did you guys think of those guardians?
I liked them. They were cool.
I was surprised that they were there because at first I'm thinking they're demons, like just trying to trick them. I had no idea what they were, that they were actually really guardians, you know?
It was an interesting dynamic to have them be kind of evil protecting this thing. Because they just were bored that they want to mess with people, kind of an idea as well. Yeah. Like, here, let's pit people against each other. Yeah. I like the visual, though, of how they, like, floated, how their faces changed, how they would be seen talking or not talking. It visually looked very cool.
Yeah. I totally agree. I think visually it looked super awesome, and it actually reminded me, again, I reference Lord of the Rings and Legend of Zelda for like Ocarina of Time in this, in our AFTERBUZZ recaps and after show way too often. But it literally reminds me of the witch sisters, Kotake and Koume, that are in the Spirit Temple. And the only reason I'm getting specific is because I love that show so much. So I was just like, it's kind of cool. They're just kind of like floating and kind of like taunting them a little bit. And I did find it interesting, too, that they are kind of, like, evil. I didn't know if they were, like, witches. I think Al Gough, one of the executive producers, said, like, the witches are here for this episode. And I was like, I don't know if that's necessarily, like...
Will refers to them, I think, as witches as well.
Okay, so...
But they didn't really seem like they're human anymore.
Yeah, they seemed more
like ghost type
things.
I
felt they were more like a ghost.
Yeah, more spirit-based.
Which could be an evil guardian if you look at it that way, that if they're ghosts.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I wouldn't... and let me ask you guys about this, because at some point I was like, okay, maybe they're like demons sent from like, the Dagdamor.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
That's what you were thinking. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Because right before that, you see the leaf fell off the tree, and that's why I'm thinking like, oh, maybe that's them, but I guess they were just guardians.
Okay, that's a good point. I didn't remember that the leaf falls off like right before that, but yeah, that's how I thought.
Leaf falls.
We will get to that finally. But so, Carrie, you didn't think that they were like that.
I just felt they were part of the temple, but it kind of seemed like, why bother having a guardian? Like, what it does? How many people really know where the blood fire is? Know where it is? Are gonna bother to go there? That it really needs a guardian.
Yes,
True.
That is such a good point.
So are these witches like hanging out like, dude, nobody's come here in so long. Oh, good, we have someone to torment.
We're just going to mess with them horribly because we've done nothing for 300 years, or how many years they've been in there. Thousands of years.
Plus, people would have to get through the trolls first before they even make it to them.
Yeah. So it's not very likely that somebody would have made it there.
There were no bodies in there, though, either.
There was no bodies in there either. And you know what? So the guy in the previous episode, the one that had like the melted face, Hamill, I'm wondering like how far he got and like where did he get his face, unless maybe he also reached the blood fire.
Because the other people died, they said as well. They said everybody who went there died.
Yeah.
Well, they could have died by the trolls, or those things made them kill each other.
Yeah. I mean,
that's possible.
The possibilities are
We don't know.
Are endless, but
no bodies.
But we do not know. But then, so what these guardians start doing is that they kind of start talking to each of the characters a little bit individually, and like in the way that like the other characters can't hear. So it's a very like one-on-one situation, and they start trying to like manipulate them and pitting them against each other, which is horrible because they start picking at like poor Eritrea, like, and also Will, like, oh, you're like halfling or whatever they say to him. And the same thing with Amberly. But then all this kind of happens, and it's all very like, all of a sudden, but I didn't actually think that Eritrea would like succumb a little bit, because she attacks Amberly.
I was just gonna say, I'm like, apparently she didn't read the 4 agreements. I don't know if you guys haven't read that book, it's a really good book. But I think she takes it so personally, because it's one of those, even if those characters didn't mean it, it means so much to her that she automatically, it's internalized, it's personal, and she breaks. Not that I feel she's weak, but it's just, she's had so much built up already that it's so easy for her to fall.
Yeah.
But I was a bit surprised. And then I was surprised by how quickly Amberly was like, oh, yeah? Well, nah. And I'm like, catfight.
Well, exactly. That's why I was like, wait.
And Will's like, whoa, girls.
But at the same time, it is like, I feel like it's just the Guardians, manipulating the girls. But I didn't actually think that Eritrea would actually try to attack Amberly, because she kind of does. And obviously Will kind of say, well, I think she deflects it, whatever she throws at her, deflects it, and then like Will ends up cutting Eritrea's hand.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then by some strange force of gravity, the blood that's coming out of her hand just like
pulls it in.
Yeah, that thing. So with that receptor thing that kind of looks like the seed starts pulling it in. So
I didn't actually think or notice that it looked like the seed until you guys pointed it out. I didn't think about that.
Yeah,
I didn't think about the seed as much, but I did also, I was going to say real quick, I liked how the witches were telling Will, like, which one are you going to choose, elf or human?
Yeah,
I hadn't thought of it that way, because I'm like, oh yeah, because he's half and half.
Yeah.
Oh,
which one?
What? Yeah. That is so good. Thank you for pointing that out.
I was going to say that because,
it's an interesting way to think of it. It's one of those, like, it's so simple that you go, oh yeah, duh, because he's half and half, and which side
will prevail, right? Yeah. That's actually very cool. I didn't.
Or someone on YouTube's like, why can't we have the threesome or something like that?
Yeah, someone on YouTube keeps wanting a threesome here, and I don't think it's gonna happen.
I don't think MTV. Well,
no. I just don't think it's gonna happen in the story. I don't put it past MTV.
That'll be in the fan fiction later.
I'm surprised. This is totally off topic, but I'm surprised that Bandon got a little sexual there.
Wait, we'll get to Bandon. I mean, he's had more action probably than a lot of the people, but we'll get to Bandon in a second.
Totally called it on him, by the way, which will...
You did. Okay, Carrie had some good predictions last week. We'll come back. We'll come full circle. But so,
yes, receptacle thing.
Yeah, receptacle thing, and then Eritrea ends up like...
needle through the hand.
The needle through the hand was horrible. But... I don't know. Do you guys have any idea maybe what Child of the Armageddon means?
Well, I was thinking about what Armageddon they're referring to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because there could be multiples, and like is that Armageddon necessarily bad? Who's that bad for?
Yeah.
Because it could be bad for the witches, because they were the ones who were like, no, stop. But maybe the Armageddon would be good for the Four Lands of bringing everything back to more balance or something like that.
Yeah.
Actually, my thing I was thinking about the whole time, I'm like, well, technically you have about 8 pints of blood in you, and you could lose about 3 to 4 and probably not die.
So while Eritrea is like literally bleeding out, you know, Carrie's like, how much would it take her to survive? How much do you think she can take?
And the thing is, too, a pint of blood, if you like spilled it on the floor, looks like a lot. Not that I've done that, but
True.
it looks like.
Have you though? No, kidding.
No, I've donated blood, so I'm like, yeah. Well, and then they talked about that. They're like, yeah, this is only a pint, but if you like spilled it, it looks like a lot. So then I was curious of how much it needs. But then again, if her body and her blood are the key, I feel that she kind of has forfeited who she is a little bit. Her life a little bit.
That's an amazing point. I think that makes a lot of sense.
Waiting for Will and those stones, though. I was like, come on. He's Mr. I'm going to heal and protect everybody.
I know.
That's going to be in the next episode.
I know. But so literally as she puts her hand there and like they're having this conversation and Amberly's trying to, so the blood fire appears literally right behind like Eritrea, like in the back, right? And she's getting sucked dry, literally like sucked dry. Like she's getting the blood taken out of her, and Will and Amberly are kind of taking a little bit more of their time. You know, Amberly more so.
She should have ran sooner. He's like, go when I'm distracting them. And he's like, you haven't gone yet.
Keep going. Keep going.
Exactly, and keep going. Hello.
And then he was distracted. That's why the other witch got closer.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
did you think that the blood fire was actually going to be fire when she puts her hand on the blood? Because I had no idea what blood fire meant.
I guess that's very
thought of
literal.
it.
I mean, blood, fire.
And then she has
you know.
to run to it. I didn't know what it was.
Yeah,
I
but
didn't
it's not
think
like a
it-
real fire because she
I
didn't.
felt it was more an energy thing.
Okay.
Energy field. Because
Yeah.
she does disappear.
She does.
goes
She
somewhere.
does.
I don't think it's fire because she does walk into it and is not like, ow, I'm being burned.
That's
is
true.
true.
Well, that's what I was thinking. I was just like, okay, well, maybe it's more of like a, like you said, energy. I think that's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
And Will actually,
Magic.
it's magic. It's something super
Yes.
metaphysical. I don't know. But Will gets to use those elf stones again,
Woohoo.
and he actually has some control over them because you know.
He doesn't say a stupid line this time. Why don't you just die?
Yeah, no, he doesn't use that. He just looks very, you know, intensely towards.
Perturbed.
He knows what he's doing
Yes.
this time.
Little
bit.
And it's also like he had told Cephalo, it's not just like I can, you know, whip them out. Sorry, just kind of whip them out.
We make jokes like
The
that on the show,
stones.
or at least I laugh, and then it's like, ha!
But he, you know, takes them out, and he can't just take them out and be like, oh, here, I'm gonna use them. They have like this whole kind of like thing
Yeah.
through his body. It's like this reaction almost. So this is like the perfect example of like that reaction. I mean, like Eritrea is being sucked dry. Amberly is getting, you know, sucked into another
Consumed?
dimension. I don't know.
Consumed?
Consumed, yes,
Yeah.
consumed.
Consumed by fire.
Exactly. And so this process
Trial by fire.
Trial by fire. That's good. And so this process can actually happen. Will, you know, takes up and defeats these two guardians of the blood fire. Amberly disappears. I don't know where she's gone to.
I wonder what it is because they mentioned it's so powerful, and I don't think we had the show ever mentioned what blood fire is specifically. I mean, I
don't
know
think
you just
so.
mentioned like blood and fire.
Yeah.
So I wonder what it is because the witches were like, it's so powerful. Why do you think you deserve it? And so I had actually thought, which maybe will happen in the next episode. And this is not a prediction because this is just what I was expecting while I was watching it, and then it didn't happen. So I'm like, just kidding.
Never mind.
I was thinking when they came back to the El Crease, the blood fire would rain down, and then she would appear, and it would burn it and make it a new one, and she'd be standing there. I just had that visual. I'm like, they're all looking up, and I'm like, I'm waiting for it to come down, destroy the tree, new tree, and then she'd be there. And then I was like, would she have clothes or no clothes? No, she'd have no clothes because it'd be fire, and she'd just be like, wham, I'm back.
I feel like you thought so much into this and how it was going to happen. I did not think that far.
Oh, no, me either. I'm just like, oh, no, where did she go? Actually, the whole time, I'm going to be very honest, I was actually thinking of poor Eritrea because I'm like, that girl's losing so much blood. She's
That's what I was
not,
thinking, too.
she's not going to make it. And it looks like, to be honest, after, you know, Amberly's disappeared, Will kind of is like, Amberly, you know, and it's like, right, Eritrea starts talking to her. Eritrea doesn't answer. Eritrea is like,
And it's
What-
possible
what is
she's
she?
not
She's-
dead yet. Because you
Yeah.
say it twice to mean it. Because, like, if you're losing that much blood, too, your pulse could just be so slow. It's not
Yeah.
like he knows to check for your pulse or whatever. But she could be
just like
The fringes,
Yes.
you know, the frail,
Yeah.
almost
Press out.
almost gone.
You know, although I will say, like, I kind of think the thing is, it's like she's obviously a main character, so it's like,
Yeah.
I don't think she's gonna die.
I don't think she's gonna die either, but at the same
Not
time,
yet.
I'm like, exactly, not yet. But at the same time, I'm thinking like, well, she's not really part of the books. They created this kind of like role. She is part of the books, but it's like not the same. So they created this kind of role that's very important to the central like story.
Oh.
And I'm wondering, is it like, you know,
That'd be
can they just
weird.
dispose of it really easily, or is her purpose solely for this kind of opening up the blood fire? I'm gonna say it that way.
Yeah.
I don't know. The way people have died off on this show, I feel their deaths are a bit more like we know they died.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I feel this is a little too vague for it to be the death. If that was the death, it'd be
Yeah.
almost kind of like
A little anticlimactic.
it'd be
that's what I'm
anticlimactic if we
thinking.
come back to it.
Okay.
And I feel like with MTV series, even when they kill off people, they always come back in some sort of way. So even if she is dead, maybe she'll come
I think
back.
there we go. We'll talk about that in
Somehow.
predictions.
Yeah, totally. That makes perfect sense. I mean, I feel like with the parameters of this world, you can kind of play around. You can kind of do a little bit of whatever you want. But okay, that's pretty much what happens with Will, Eritrea, and Amberly.
company.
As we call them, the company. Is there anything else that you guys want to add before I move on to some of the other
With
fun
them?
stuff?
No.
I think
That
we covered
tattoo.
it.
All right. Just, you know, we have a problem with the tattoo, guys. It's just not, it's not believable.
You know, another thing too, because we had talked about it in so many other episodes, the hair has been slightly disappointing lately.
Oh, well.
We've talked about how great their hair is.
But, you know,
I know they've been busy, but still.
They've
But
been busy.
Eritrea started doing a rap thing, which looked cool.
Yeah, I've seen
Like
that
they
in
did
a-
the braid and they're
that.
kind of wrapping it and stuff.
Yeah, I very much
They have
enjoyed the
amazing
hair.
hair earlier on, so.
Oh, I guess I never paid attention to that much.
Yeah, we
It's
actually started
functional
off.
and pretty.
we literally started off our AfterBuzz like after shows by talking about that, because it literally was like we were all so like impressed by it. It's so beautiful.
Come on, her bathtub hair, remember?
Oh,
Yeah.
we were talking
I
about
do
the
remember
bathtub
that one.
hair too.
Oh,
We're
that's
like,
right. But
Because
also
that's
so
how
not.
I look when I get my hair done in the bathtub. It's like, what?
I prep that much.
Yeah.
I think I was like, I even said, I was like, oh yeah, no, I don't wear a shower cap. That's not what I do. Like, I wear my hair like that. No,
yeah.
shower cap all the way.
I always wonder, do they smell? Because they're like sweating so much as they're running through the woods and fighting people. Like, we've seen like how many baths? Maybe one.
Just one.
It's Fantasy World, everybody smells.
And also Will by the river.
Ooh, if she's the princess, they probably have some scented oils, and that's about
Oh.
Yeah. Also, I'm glad that it's not like a 3D experience, 4D experience. Sorry, where you're like have those scents coming through the
Scratch
TV
card?
or whatever. No, thank you.
I don't need to know.
No, thank you. But all right, let's move
Moving.
on. So Bandon has a very, very kind of like large role in this episode.
Yeah.
it. Called it.
She
What
called
did you say?
it.
I missed that.
I was like, I don't think, because when we first see him, when he wakes up, he's just like, I'm fine.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no. If he was all him, he'd be like, holy mackerel, I went through so much and I feel so drained right now. And he's like, I'm good. So I'm like, no, I think the Dagmar still has hold on him. And I wasn't sure if it'd be an active thing or if it'd be subconscious, but it is a mix of both.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I was
You're, like, spot
disappointed.
on.
Well, that one. I was like,
She was-
that
she-
one, I was like, oh, this is totally going to happen. Then as soon as I'm watching, I'm like sitting there like, stupid kid. And I wanted Al-Anon to kill him, actually.
You did?
I did.
What?
When they
Carrie.
had the, like, when he has the staff, I was waiting for he had a look. Al-Anon had a look that he'd be like, damn, I don't want to, but I think I have to.
Yeah.
Or at least completely subdue him.
Yeah. Well, okay.
No, I don't know what he did to him, because I'm thinking he's dead, but then because he's like, I'm sorry, like, you know, Al-Anon says I'm sorry, but I guess he's not dead then. I guess
Oh,
they had
no. I was
back
saying I
then.
wanted him to.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, you know, I mean,
I don't know if he can be saved. I want him to be. But
I mean, I feel like the only way that he can be saved now is if the Dagmar is out of the picture, because
True.
the Dagmar
That's true.
has like
the hold on him.
totally the hold on him.
But wouldn't that be a creature too that possibly after he dies he could still have like claws in a little bit?
You mean like so after?
Or at least Bandon's gonna feel like crap.
So you
later.
mean kind of like in Lord of the Rings where like Sauron is still like present.
Well,
Sorry.
he did so much while he was still trapped, so he might be able to do something even after he dies. Maybe.
Okay.
Or at least
Oh,
Bandon's
that's
going to
true.
feel so bad later. Because right now, obviously, he doesn't feel bad about what happens in this episode. But I would think later he'd be like, I am so sorry.
I am so sorry,
So
guys.
sorry. Just like that. He'd say it just like that. But we can move forward with them.
No, yeah, totally. I mean, Bandon has these visions where he kind of confirms that Amberly's still alive, right?
Weak-willed.
Very weak-willed, and he's getting trained by Al-Anon, right?
Yep.
But all just in that kind of in that training stuff. I mean, Al-Anon wants him to be strong against the Dagdamor, but we all obviously see that he's still taken over by the Dagdamor because he starts kind of like turning on him a little bit, and then we see it a little bit more when okay, so this is Ander. Anyway, when he kind of like fights Ander because Ander's training like the people in his army and whatnot, making sure kind of like everyone's on the same level, and he gets
His ass whooped.
yeah, and like Al-Anon has to step in. And it's kind of concerning, to be honest, that like Ander would not be able, you know what I mean?
I was thinking that. I'm like, wow, he's really not that good of a fighter.
Yeah, unless maybe he let his guard down because he's like, oh, it's Bandon, it's some kid who doesn't
like
know
he's
how
not
to
gonna
fight.
kill me.
Well, I think he would put it up because he goes, wow, you're stronger than you look. I think he then would have been a bit like, it would have been better for him to save face if he just stumbled backwards and not fell.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally. Totally, I agree with you there.
He's had a lot of stress in his life, so maybe he's just not up to par.
Yeah, and we'll kind of get to what he's dealing with in a second, but I mean it's a lot to take on.
Yeah.
But so Al-Anon kind of like intervened, thankfully, because it almost was getting out of hand.
doesn't know what he's doing.
He's not himself.
Yeah.
Not himself right now. But then, so Bandon actually has a very like kind of sexual scene. Well, sexy scene, sexual scene. I don't know.
Sexily sexual.
Kind of like a very steamy-ish.
It was good at the start, and then you're like, oh, this is getting creepy.
It got creepy.
It got rapey really fast.
It got
But
horrible
she
really
was
fast.
like liking it.
Yeah,
That's what
first
I
she's
was
like,
confused of.
Well,
that
because-
went a little 0 to 60. That I was
Yeah.
like, oh,
Well, she doesn't know that he's like possessed by this like evil being, So she's just kind of taking
nothing to like.
it like. Well, she probably just thought like, oh, he takes charge, because he's kind of
he grabs
sheepish.
her.
Yeah, he's kind of like reserved for the most part, and then all of a sudden he's like jumping
like,
on her.
"Oh, hey."
She's like, oh, hey, I like a man who knows how to take charge. But so he actually kind of confesses to her like what's kind of going on, that he feels like a pawn, and he still feels like the Dagdamor is inside his head.
Which, guess what? You should be telling that to Al-Anon.
Yes, exactly.
Ah.
But Al-Anon, let's be real. Like Al-Anon totally knows.
Yes.
Totally. He's just. I think he sensed it at the beginning. And then
I sensed it. Al-Anon, I hope you do.
yeah, I mean, if Carrie senses it, Al-Anon should definitely be sensing it. So when they kiss, you know what really grossed me out? The vision that he has of Catania being licked by the Dagdamor.
Yeah, that was.
It was disgusting.
What's even creepier is that he kisses her after, because then I'm like, that means he's thinking about it.
Yeah.
And still like,
but I mean, but then is he thinking about it in the sense that like he as Bandon, or is it the Dagdamor thing?
No,
exactly.
I think he's like trapped in the back.
Yeah. Okay. So then things really do kind of get out of hand in such a way that Bandon tries to strangle her.
Apparently, it's not a thing she's into.
No, she was into the. It's
They
kind of
didn't
like
have
the
a safe word.
They didn't have
my
a safe
gosh.
word. Apparently, it was very it was good, and it was good until it got too good. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I actually didn't think she was gonna get away. I'm like, this girl is done here.
Yeah, I thought she was gonna die
thought she was
too.
gonna die.
Right?
I was
Yeah.
glad she got away.
Yeah, me too, because then it's like, I mean, we have to stop this at some point. It can't just be like all the time, like, death and strangle, this and that. There's got to be like something else.
Yep.
But Al-Anon ends up telling Bandon that, the Dagdamor exploits weaknesses like him, liking Catania. And they actually square off a little bit. And I'm like, Bandon, not gonna happen. Like, you might get one blow, one hit. But then let's be real. Al-Anon is just like so good.
It's a staff
Did
down.
you think that was really him talking though, or the
No,
Dagmar?
it's all Dagdamor.
I think it's all-
I think we've
That's what I
seen
was thinking, too.
maybe a minute
It's
of
maybe
Bandon.
10% abandoned right
Yeah,
now.
Because
literally.
I thought his character was more like reserved, and
Yeah.
we weren't gonna see
He doesn't
him
even
get
wanna
too
touch
intense,
people.
But now,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually,
It's a
that's the
totally
other thing.
different
When he
character.
kisses her so soon, he before didn't even want to touch her. So I feel he's like,
But it's-
Yeah,
5-10%
true.
of him is there.
Yeah, I
And
think that's a great
little.
Yeah.
thing to point out. I mean, he literally just like makes out with her, and I mean, there's nothing there that's like weird. So
Yeah.
I think it's mostly Dagdamore.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm glad that Al-Anon manages to kind of knock him out, and that's kind of like the end we see of
Yes.
of Balanon. Whatever, sorry, Bandon and Al-Anon. So yeah, is there anything else you guys want to kind of like wrap up with on Bandon before I like move on to the other?
I didn't know he had muscles. Like, did you see?
What
his
were you
arm
looking at,
his
girl?
arm
What were you-
muscle- I'm getting out of hand here. His arm
She literally
muscles.
just hit her mic, you guys. Like she's
like, whoa.
too much.
It's too much for me. But yeah, no, you didn't notice
When
that?
he takes his shirt off. Oh, I like that she took his shirt off
Yeah.
and her clothes never came off.
Very good. Thank you, MTV, for
Yeah,
this.
if we're gonna make
Please
the men
do
naked,
again.
the ladies,
No, I didn't.
But we did. Wait, did we? Yeah, equal opportunity. Oh, that was on another one of my shows.
Oh, okay.
On the Magicians, we're like most of that when we were talking about equal opportunity nudity. I feel MTV. Oh, because I was talking about this one. I'm like, yeah, mainly it's just the dudes who get their shirts off. The ladies keep their clothes on mostly. But I'm all equal opportunity. If we're gonna make one take their clothes off, both gotta be equal.
Yeah, but I
Just
think
saying.
yeah, but I think in this situation it kind of works
It's
because it was like
no.
it was just kind of starting, and then all of
Yeah.
a sudden things got kind of out of hand.
Yeah.
But I mean, he does have muscles, and then so does Ander, which we're gonna talk about now. That's my segue into Ander.
Yes.
So Ander has this like.
His butt looks so good. Sorry.
What are you looking
You know
at?
what? I noticed. Yeah, what are you looking at, Carrie?
When he had his arms up in the prison, I was like, his butt looks really good.
He is very, his lower body is very like plumpy and muscular. That's what I'll say, because I noticed that too. I was
Just
like,
when you talked about him, I just thought of the
No,
part
yeah,
where
yeah.
he has the,
because
he's
that's
chained up.
I
was like,
literally, I've looked, his legs look very muscular. It's like his
Yeah.
butt looks, plumpy and bootylicious. Like,
Plumpy.
plumpy. I don't know. Is that like
I
a
don't
good
feel
word?
like
Is that not a good
flattering word, but I get it. Well, it looks good in those pants, those modern pants.
Yeah.
Yes, those modern pants with lots of pockets and zippers.
Yes.
But like basically what's happening is that Ander is trying to cement an alliance with the gnomes because there's no way that they could do this on their own. But Kale gets in the freaking way. That lady, she even tells him like
Nobody loves kale.
No.
Boom.
but
no, I do.
she literally tells him like, you're no king, you're what's left.
Yeah.
I thought I was surprised that she came back, but then again, it seemed too easy when she left the last episode.
Yeah.
It's like, she came back.
She did
Yeah.
come back. She did come back.
That's how I felt.
Cat came back. Is it Cat came back very next day? Is that how that song goes?
I have no idea.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay.
So he wants to also cement this alliance to kind of just make sure that people know that he's worthy of the throne and that he
Yeah.
can really take charge. What ends up happening is that while Commander Tilton is gone, delivering this note, to the gnomes, they imprison him.
Sorry.
What?
I was like, so is she gonna hook up with him now because her other guy's gone?
Dude, I am
first thing
thinking.
I thought of.
No, I am thinking the same thing. I'm like,
when
okay,
she's like, I can't
Yeah.
leave you alone.
no, is this going to
Yeah.
be the rise of Anton? I'm trying to ship them in a way and put them
Yeah,
into like
yeah.
a celebrity name. No kidding. But yeah, so she's gone away, and it's like all of a sudden the army kind of turns against Ander, and they imprison him, and Kale's kind of at the lead. But then even though Slanter was like, well, I was going to help them against the demons, I didn't want to be part of an elven civil war. They come back, release Ander, who's with his plumpy bottom half hung up in the in that chamber.
Nice
which
shirt too.
this is all,
Yeah.
it's all working. This was a nice looking episode for him. Not gonna lie. They come into the council, and they're gonna have 5,000 gnomes with them, I believe.
Yes.
And people kind of accept him as king, right? They kind of like embrace it finally. Swear fealty,
Yeah.
like everything. Very
Do the sword up.
do the sword up, everything. But then literally kind of like the last thing that we're left with is everybody watching the Elcrease, and we have the final leaf.
Hashtag the final leaf.
Hashtag the
That
final
was like
leaf.
the most intense moment for me. I'm just watching it, and they're all holding the candle, just staring
See,
up
that's
at
what
it.
I thought the Amberley thing would happen, because I'm like, this would be epic. Oh, it didn't happen. Just kidding.
It's it's a very intense moment, because that literally means like, okay, the Elcrease is dead, and then what we see afterward is that the Dagdamore and the demons are free to go. Literally,
Yeah.
There's no reason for them to stay back.
Blackfire's gonna rain down on their camp of soldiers. There you go.
Okay, we'll get into predictions
Prediction,
for
but
a
not
second.
really. Just a visual.
But this was a very, very cool episode for Ander, just because I feel like we have a king. We really do right now,
Yeah.
and I feel like he's really just gotten into that role.
Stop
for
drinking.
him.
Yes, don't drink. We root for him.
Yes.
And yes. So
Moderation.
in moderation. You can drink in moderation, and don't ride any horses after the drinking. Please keep yourself safe. But yeah, so that's kind of where we leave our peeps. Is there anything else about Ander and his people that you guys want to talk about?
It leads into predictions, but I totally had the visual or idea that I'm like, wait, is he gonna get back with her now? Because her man's gone.
Well, how about kind of to segue, and so that we can start talking about that if you want. We're gonna do some predictions.
This is our weird music.
Yeah, we do it for those of you on iTunes. We do a little dance every time the predictions
because there's lights
comes out. Yeah,
it's like woo. Well, you hear the sound, but there's lights.
Yeah, there's lights in here. All right, so Carrie, do you want to kind of take it off with that?
Sure. I think Ander and the captain are gonna get back together because there's they were together before, and her man's gone. We don't need her to stay single forever. So
and no one has to know either.
What are you talking about,
they can
Veronica?
know.
Everybody needs to know.
No, not that. No one has to know that they were together before. Because
nobody. I don't think anybody knew. So it doesn't matter.
They can keep it a secret now.
Then I think Amberly is not dead. No way.
You mean Eritrea?
No, Amberly too.
Oh, well, okay.
Yeah,
Amberly.
In the fire. She'll come back in some epic. It's going to be epic. I don't know how, but she'll come back in some epic way. Hopefully, that blood fire is going to come and destroy part of the army. Maybe that's going to be part of the weapon because they did talk about how powerful it is. So there you go. I'm making a broad prediction of that blood fire is going to come and somehow be important for the battle.
Okay.
Eritrea is dead, but will bring her back with the stones or some sort of magic.
Ooh, I like that.
I like that too.
I like that. Okay, cool.
I definitely think that one. You like to hit all my predictions right on point.
You're like,
everything's same. No,
ditto and moving on. No, I'm kidding.
I think that, well, based off of kind of what we were seeing in the next week's episode, the whole war with the demons and everything, I think that someone is gonna die. I just don't know who yet in that war, and I don't know who I would protect, but I hope it's not the king because I'm excited for him. You know, we finally have a king that's at peace with the trolls, so. And I think, I don't know how Amberly's going to come back. You have a good point there. And then also, I think that Eritrea is probably just passed out. She's probably going to wake up. I think he's probably going to, like, kiss her and admit, maybe he'll say that he, like, loves her instead, and then she'll wake up, but...
Veronica.
I don't know, I'm just throwing it out there.
How helpless romantic. Well, I was going to say, Al-Anon can die and he'll come back.
Yeah, that's true. Al-Anon is he's a regenerator.
Go to his super cave.
To his super druid sleep stuff.
Yes.
Really quickly, I think, Ander and Tilton would definitely be like an item. And then we're going to see the Dagdamor face off with Al-Anon. And... I don't want to say that Dagdamor is going to die in the season finale because I just don't think that's the end of it. But I mean, it is possible. I really, really, really hope that Al-Anon does not die. And I think Eritrea is dead. Like 100%.
Done.
I think she's donezo. But we'll see next week. Anyway, ladies, where can everybody find you on social media?
Yes, hello. You can find me online at Carrie D. Lane, and that's Carrie, Karidlane.
You can find me at Veronica on TV on Twitter and Instagram.
And you can find me, Maria Cavassuto, on Twitter and Instagram at Maria Cavassuto, and then on Snapchat at MGCVSST. Please, please, please like our YouTube.
Comment, thumbs up.
Comment, thumbs up, whatever you guys want. Talk to us about it. We like to hear what you guys think. Maybe you guys had an idea that we didn't, and we'd love to hear about it.
Yes.
Please tweet at us and follow and subscribe to AfterBuzz TV on YouTube and also on Twitter. And yeah, we have a bunch of other shows that you can check out. You know, we have literally everything across the board. Some shows starting soon. And please, please, please don't forget to thumbs up and give us some good ratings on iTunes. And we will be back next week, same time for
the finale.
Season finale.
Woo!
Woo! See you next week, guys.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.